his pivoting from lawyer to like something more holistic and aligned.
So you got your hands on this book at that time. It's
Yeah.
weird how sometimes
Yeah.
it comes in
Yeah.
at the right time.
Totally.
Man. Like the right joint comes in.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, this is a sign.
Exactly. And for me, I was not reading books at that point. I know just at no time, but like somehow it came into my hands. So I read that book, and I was like, that was like the little bit of a switch that was like, all right, I need to start changing. Here's someone that I got inspired by someone else. And so yeah, unfortunately at that time, I then started working for my firm got bought out by another firm called Macquarie Bank, the biggest Australian bank. And so I go for them for another 3 years. At the same time, I'm now in graduate school for my MBA.
Wait. Hold up. I got my stories. Chris, the fake news, bro. When did this chapter come from? Wait, so then after that, you go to grad school.
Yeah.
You go
at the same time.
I didn't realize that. So you get accepted at Baruch.
Mm-hmm.
You get accepted at Baruch, and you're also working at the same time.
Yeah. So we get bought out by another firm, by Macquarie Bank, and so during grad school, this transition where I'm like, they're cutting people, but somehow they keep me. And so yeah, I'm then transitioning to a new job. This is the final chapter of my Wall Street career.
Oh shit! I didn't realize there was 3 chapters. To this joint,
I didn't
bro.
know either until talking to you about this.
There's a bonus chapter I didn't know I signed up for. Well, wait, okay, so fill me in on this real quick. So then, at what point, what puts an end to that third, because in my mind, I thought it was Mainland's in hospital.
Yeah.
Sign from the universe, get this book.
Yeah.
Bounce on me, outie.
I wish.
So you almost get 3 strikes.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time, I think it goes to show your perseverance too. You know that that pressure is too real. You know that you were not gonna let fam down. You were gonna feel this. Like finish this shit.
Exactly.
One way or another.
Exactly.
So, it's a testament to you too, and you're being your perseverance. Though, like do 2 collapse alongs or whatever. You're like. The man is determined.
I'm gonna do this, do or die. You know, like
real.
my word is bond.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. I whenever I do things, I like to be committed and disciplined, and yeah, I want to do things the right way.
So how does that third chapter kind of wrap up?
So Baruch takes 4 years part time as I'm going through Wall Street. So at the last year, I'm like, so we know Johnny FD.
Yeah.
So I'm. To go back to my insecurities and self-confidence, I then see an article about an Asian dating coach talk about tiger moms and strict families and strict upbringings, like the New York Times. And this is when like the movie Tiger Mom came out, or the book Tiger Mom. And so I'm reading this article, and they interviewed this Asian dating coach, JT Tran, and he pretty much talks about like the negative beliefs and the upbringing that Asian guys have to grow up and why it affects their dating life. And I'm like, yeah, like I only had 1 girlfriend this time, and like I'm still insecure with women. And I'm like, you know what? Let me see who this guy is. So obviously, I read that article. I then sign up for the boot camp, a weekend boot camp in New York City, where the dating instructors come in, they teach you theory, and then you have to go to the clubs and like talk to girls and like try to get numbers and then try and kiss them. And for me, I'm like, I'd rather jump out that window than talk to that hot girl. So anyways, I signed up for the boot camp, and yeah, it was kind of like the first time I've done like personal development, to be honest, like to really do like a coaching or group coaching or anything like that. So what happened is I signed up for that, and then I get on the emailing list. Johnny FD he works his company at the time.
I didn't know
this
that.
is 2011. So
Oh,
before
shit.
Johnny was like, yeah, so he was still doing like Muay Thai and stuff. So I ended up being on his emailing list because he's working for them out in California. I had not met him yet. So I see him like he did a New Year's talk, and he was like talking about how he came to Thailand to do Muay Thai and be a dating or a scuba instructor. And I'm like, man, that's so freaking cool. I wish I could do that. And then like his big message at the end of the video was like, try something new. And this is for me at the end of the New Year's. And I'm like, usually I'm not like into like New Year's resolutions, but I'm like, you know what? I really need to change my life, so I'm gonna give something a shot. So I was like, why don't I just try Muay Thai? So I pull up Google, I look up a gym, and I go to Evolution Muay Thai in New York City in Herald Square, and I tried Muay Thai for the first time. And I was instantly hooked. And I was like, man, this is so much more fun than going to the gym, lift the weights. It's more badass.
Yeah.
I felt like just more confident from doing something like that. And I was just instantly hooked. So every weekend I would take the train from Hoboken to New York City to train, an hour or two at the Muay Thai gym. And that became my passion. And so this is the last year as I'm working on Wall Street. And so I'm finishing up my MBA, and I tell my boss, so like this is 2011, 2012. So at that time, I'm like looking at people's YouTube videos and blogs about Muay Thai, like people traveling to Thailand, going to different gyms, basically doing like travel holidays. And I'm like, man, that shit looks so much fun. I wish I could take a month off and just travel Asia and train. So I tell my boss, I'm like, listen, I'm going to finish my MBA. I have all this vacation saved up from the last 4 years. I'm now taking time off, the last 4 to 8 years. Can I take the accumulated time off and take a month off and travel Asia? And he was like, yeah, go for it. And I was like, no way. So he was a super cool manager. He's from Australia. He's big into like bicycling all over the world. So he actually knew what I wanted to do. So he was cool. He's like, yeah, go for it. So I came for 6 weeks to Thailand, May 2012. And I trained 3 weeks in Phuket, 2 weeks in Chiang Mai up here, and then 1 week in Bangkok. And that was pretty much
sealed the deal.
Seal the deal. And I got to meet like other expats and entrepreneurs who were doing this digital nomad thing. I'm like, I thought I was badass staying 6 weeks. They're like, nah, I live out here for 6 months, 9 months. I'm like, how do you do that? I need to do that. People are doing like AdWords and Amazon stuff. And like, so this is 2012 before like the really like mainstream stuff hit with digital nomad. So I met people, and that was a huge inspiration for me to see that there's another way of people living. And then on top of that, I then, through a friend, he was like, yeah, I'm going to meditation class tomorrow. You want to check it out? And I was like, meditation, I think I need that in my life. And I never tried it before, I was always like, was it some hippie shit? But I went to it, and during that class in Phuket, I felt something. I meditated for the first time, and I had felt something inside of me. And I was just like, you know what? I need to like pursue this and come back and learn more about meditation, because I felt something, and I could tell that like I always hear the benefits of meditation. So at the end of this trip, here I am getting perspectives from other people and seeing how other people live their life. And at the same time, I felt so relaxed and not stressed out when I was here in Thailand. I never felt that sense of like, I can let my guard down.
Right.
And I was just like, this is what it feels to be happy, to be present, to be at ease, to be joyful with life, and not have that crazy New York City intense energy where like a dog eat dog world,
It's so hard to articulate that though, and I feel like I sound like a crazy person when I go back home and talk to people. They're like, yo, Kia, you tripping. But like, it's really like this intangible thing but I mean, I guess it is tangible because it is a real feeling, but it's so hard to kind of like capture that and to like be able to try to present that to people in something that's digestible, because it does feel very hippy dippy. It does feel very out there, but that happiness, when I think back, I'm like, this is the happiest year of my life, you know. And so
same here.
And so you kind of come out, but I think sometimes you got to take that plunge to taste it.
Totally.
Because I can tell you about it all day long, which but then you come out for that 6 weeks and you're like, oh shit, you're like, this is real. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, I could probably pull this off if I do something like this or that. So that kind of switch goes off in your head.
Totally.
And you come back, and are you ready to just like dip as soon as you get back to New York? What's kind of the game plan? Yeah,
so it was a weird transition. I had that thing that people call reverse culture shock. I was almost in a Zen state of mind, and then I'm walking the subways, and people are like right up in your face. People are yelling and screaming,
or they're sleeping and slumped on the train.
And I'm just like, that's when like the whole contrast of Zen versus intensity, and I was like, I don't fit in this shit no more. I gotta figure something out. And so that's the thing, like I then read the 4 Hour Work Week. So that's the thing. Someone was like, read the 4 Hour Work Week. So I come back and I read the 4 Hour Work Week. And once I read that book, it was just like, all right, I'm like, I don't want to be emotional, because I realize I'm probably in the honeymoon phase from just coming to this amazing transformational trip. Let me just at least be a little bit logic. So I read that book, and then I take 2 or 3 months to really like weigh the pros and cons and be like, if I were to quit, how much money do I have saved up? What could I do for a job eventually? What would I actually be doing out here? And I really like went deep inside. And at the end of those 2 or 3 months, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to freaking do it. I'm going to quit my job and move out of here. So I came back, May, June after Thailand. And so, by like November, I bought my ticket. But the thing is this, so like on Wall Street, they pay the year-end bonuses out at the end of the year. So I'm like, yo, if I leave, I'd be a fool to like quit now. I'm going to wait till I get my bonus at the end of the year. So I'm like, got my poker face on. I booked my tickets, but I didn't tell anybody except my family that I'm going to quit my job. Day after New Year's 2013, I walked to my boss's office. I'm like, hey, Vinny, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. And he's like, yeah, what are you going to be doing? I'm like, I'm going to quit and go move to Thailand and do Muay Thai and meditation. He's like, no, really? What firm are you going to? Can you get me a job? He didn't realize. Really? I'm like, yeah, he didn't believe me.
It's so funny, man. People,
did not believe me.
Because it sounds really crazy. You're like, I'm following this passion.
Yeah.
I'll be like, no, Chris.
like come back.
Yeah, like what firm? Like
exactly.
What firm? How much are they paying?
Exactly.